see this chart, it confirms that Bitcoin and the altcoins are closely following global M2. But what's most exciting about this is back in December when Bitcoin hit $109,000 and many altcoins found themselves at all-time highs, the global M2 was only at this level. Right now, we're expected to reach the same level as that in just the next 3 weeks, meaning that Bitcoin and the altcoins could be back at all-time high around mid-May. And beyond that, the global M2 continues to surge towards the upside with no sign of stopping, indicating that over the next few months, we're going to have one of the most explosive growth phases for crypto you could ever imagine.
피터 앤서니는 크립토 시장에서 가장 앞서가는 전문가 중 한 명으로 그의 통찰력은 이미 업계 전반에 널리 알려져 있는데요. 최근 그는 2025년 4월 비트코인 상승이 어떤 배경에서 비롯된 것인지, 그리고 모두가 기다리는 알트코인 대불장이 과연 언제쯤 찾아올 것인지에 대해 설명했습니다. 그 주요 내용을 함께 확인해 보시죠.
But I get it. Right now, you're looking at your altcoins wondering why some of them are not performing particularly strongly. Well, it's all because the Bitcoin dominance continues to rise. Will it ever come down and create an altcoin season? Well, right now, it's flashing a signal that we haven't seen for months that I think indicates that we're going to see a massive move for altcoins rather sooner than many people think. Bitcoin and the altcoins have been closely following global M2 money supply. It's no surprise. And in fact, this move recently for crypto won't come as any surprise either, because you can see that this signal towards the upside has been pumping for weeks, telling us that this was imminent. Now, I personally was a bit early on this. I thought that we would start the move higher sometime around the end of March, but instead we started this move around the start of April, and since then we've basically been going up in a straight line. We will continue to see this as the M2 continues to climb into at least mid-July. Things are about to go absolutely crazy, and I don't think many people realize this. Back in December, we saw the M2 money supply climbing towards these levels, okay? At this level, we saw Bitcoin hitting around, $108,000, $109,000. We saw cryptos like Solana, XRP, Cardano absolutely exploding. And then since then, we can see that the M2 falls down, which has led to recent decline in price. Now, this level indicates the highs that we saw Bitcoin, etc. at previously. Now, the M2 runs into this same level sometime around the middle of May. This is a really important time because it means that around this date, which is only a few weeks away, we're going to see Bitcoin, altcoins, probably back towards highs that they were at back then. And then from there, all the way until the summer, things are going to go crazy. But if you jump across to crypto bubbles right now, you're probably thinking to yourself, why is IMX up 61% and Tau Pretends are up 46% and other altcoins pumping like crazy and I'm up, 3 or 4% in my ICP position or whatever it is that you're holding right now? Well, you need to understand that different altcoins right now will run because of different reasons. A lot of these are pumping right now because of market makers who are basically pulling money off of exchanges right now to mess with the supply, etc., and pump prices. We're also seeing probably a lot of these projects injecting their own liquidity back into the projects to pump them up, to make them seem exciting and get retail investors to ape in. You're also probably seeing venture capital funds pumping money like crazy back into the markets. That's why we're seeing SUIs, IMXs, Tau Pretenses, etc. pumping up exponentially more than other coins out there who have decided not to do this yet. So right now, if you're holding coins that aren't pumping yet, it's because your coins that you're in aren't doing this. But don't worry, they will pump eventually as we move down the path towards altcoin season. Now, I've showed you this chart multiple times before. We talked about it back in December, where we had that mini altcoin season where we saw XRP exploding to the upside, Cardano, and a bunch of other coins, SUI, having really good runs. And a lot of the altcoins that you're holding will probably start to move into the phase 2, phase 3 part of the kind of path to altcoin season. Now, why do we see that path to altcoin season? Basically, right now, the markets have been in full fear. And I don't mean just the crypto markets. I mean outside, in like the stock market, in the bonds market, all sorts of crazy stuff going on around the world. During max fear periods, people go to safe havens like the US dollar and other kind of safe havens out there. As you can see, though, people have started to move out of those safe havens into more risky ends of the market. The dollar has been dumping like crazy, which is why we're starting to see liquidity flows coming in big force. But those liquidity flows, because of the global M2 money supply, take 12 weeks to end up into the crypto markets. That's because crypto represents the risky end of the market. So you go bonds, you go like real estate, you go into like the stock market, the NASDAQ, and then into crypto. But not just crypto, you go into Bitcoin and then into the large caps and then into the small caps and then into like the meme coins and then like NFTs and whatever crazy stuff happens at the end of this bull market. So a lot of the smaller caps that you're holding right now won't see so much upside, but that doesn't make them bad coins. I look at some of the altcoins, small caps I'm holding right now, like My Lovely Planet, top quality project, hasn't really seen that exciting an upside. But as soon as the market kind of discovers these coins, there's a chance that you see candlesticks like this starting to print, okay? This is, again, humans AI. Again, seen not much upside recently. Again, once it starts to get towards the risk end of the market, then we're going to see these coins putting in these sort of candles again. Metacade, another one. Again, I'm just confident to continue holding these. And eventually, once SUI continues to climb, some of my SUI position, I might start to rotate into those smaller cap coins. Also with Bitcoin, etc., into smaller caps as we move down the risk curve.
12주 선행 M2 글로벌 통화량은 제가 이전 영상들에서도 반복적으로 설명을 드렸던 부분인데요. 이번에 피터 앤서니도 이 중요성을 다시 한번 짚어줬습니다. M2 통화량이란 현금과 쉽게 현금화할 수 있는 자산의 총합을 말하는데요. 쉽게 말하면 시장에 돈이 얼마나 풀려 있는지를 보여주는 지표입니다. 시장에 돈이 풀리면 사람들은 자연스럽게 위험자산에 대한 선호가 높아지면서 그 유동성은 안전자산에서 위험자산으로 점차 이동하게 되는데요. 피터는 자산의 위험 정도에 따라 이와 같은 흐름으로 자금이 흘러들어가 가격 펌핑을 만들어낼 것이라 예측하고 있습니다. 암호화폐 시장에서 가장 중요한 점은 우선 비트코인이 상승해야 한다는 점인데요. 일반적으로 M2 통화량의 상승 후 약 12주 뒤에 비트코인이 이러한 유동성의 증가를 반영한다고 알려져 있습니다. 실제로 올해 비트코인 시장 흐름을 보면 M2 지표가 하락을 선행해서 예측했고 비트코인이 저점을 만들고 최근 상승하는 모습까지 정확하게 짚어냈습니다. 이러한 M2 통화량에 따르면 시기상 5월 중순에 비트코인은 신고점을 갱신할 가능성이 높아 보이는데요. 그리고 비트코인이 충분히 올라준 이후엔 자연스럽게 알트코인 불장으로 이어질 가능성도 함께 열릴 것입니다. 피터 앤서니가 이 흐름에 대해 더 자세히 어떻게 설명하는지 이어서 들어보겠습니다.
So, how do we know whether or not we're going to enter into the risk curve? Well, it's inevitable. Okay, because the markets are pumping up right now because of M2. QE to come out of the US because the rest of the world is QEing. But basically, we've been through a very stressful time in the markets. So China, India, the UK, the Eurozone, Canada, everyone else has been printing money like crazy because they've been pushed through a whole world of more pain than the US has gone through over this tariff drama. Okay, so that QE is what's flooding into the markets now, in anticipation of the pain that we were going to see in tariff times. Anyway, this is the chart that matters to us because this is going to tell us whether or not we're going to get our altcoin season and when things are going to go crazy. Now, this is the Bitcoin dominance chart, and it tells us the altcoin season is coming sooner rather than you think. And I know little Timmy will be down there below in the comments being like, you told me there was an altcoin season back in December. And there kind of was, but it just wasn't that big. This is what caused that altcoin season. The Bitcoin dominance dumped from 61% all the way down to 54%. Now, why is this important? The Bitcoin dominance represents the amount of the market cap of crypto that Bitcoin is. Okay, so right now, the entire market cap of crypto, 64% of it is held in Bitcoin. This tends to mean that at the start of bull market phases where Bitcoin's rallying up, money flows into Bitcoin rather than into the alts. And eventually you get a time like this that sends all of the altcoins crazy. Bitcoin kind of goes sideways for a bit. Money continues to come in, but a lot of money just goes into the altcoins because we hit the risk end of the market. So what signal is flashing over here that's got me all excited? Well, none other than this. I don't tend to get into indicators too much, but there is one indicator alongside the global M2 money supply indicator, which is an absolute beast, that tells us that things are looking pretty good. Now, when we got that altcoin season, mini altcoin season back in November, December, this is what it looked like on the Bitcoin dominance chart. But it's really, really important that we focus what happened before that. As you can see, the Bitcoin dominance climbed and climbed and climbed. But interestingly, the relative strength down below started to go down. Now, this is called a bearish divergence. As the relative strength dies off, but the price increases, it's going to get to a point where the momentum dies. And then this happens. This is your altcoin season. And guess what? Guess what's exciting? Okay, right now we've seen the Bitcoin dominance going bananas, 64.35%, higher than I thought it would get to be honest. But interestingly, down below on the relative strength, you can see that this is overbought and in fact starting to indicate that there are maybe, just maybe, signs of a bit of weakness coming in here. This is going up, showing price increase. This is showing momentum is dying for Bitcoin dominance right now. Does that mean that it has to come flying down today? No. Does it mean that it has to happen tomorrow? No, but it will happen in the coming days and weeks ahead, which will indicate why we get altcoin season happen. And when this sends itself down towards, 40% or possibly even lower, guys, because there's so many more altcoins out there. There's so much more experience perhaps in the markets. It should be the most outrageous pump you've ever seen for altcoins ever. And the pump is going to be huge. And here's why. Because a lot of money is in Bitcoin right now. Trillions, over $1 trillion at least. I don't know the market cap of Bitcoin right now. But in order for the rest of the market to start seeing some of that money, when money flows out of Bitcoin and out of like USDT and USDC into some of the smaller cap altcoins, it really doesn't take much money to pump them up like crazy. Some of these coins with like 5 million or 10 million market cap are going to go absolutely crazy when this happens. Okay, so just be patient. If you're holding coins that are yet to pump like crazy, just be patient. Now, in terms of like the large caps, I think a very key place to look at whether or not it's too late to get into them is the versus Bitcoin chart. SUI, for example, I would say is going to have a good bull run. Okay, but if you've been out of it for now, I would probably be away from this, okay? Because it's already been pumping like crazy. It's a coin that I hold a huge bag of and have done for weeks. I made a video about it the other day when SUI was down here and many people just called me an idiot and didn't watch the video. So don't go and jump into SUI now because you should have just watched the other video the other day. Anyway, this is versus Bitcoin. You can see SUI's been pumping up, okay? Not so good to be able to enter into it now. If you're already holding it, perfect. You've done well. If you go down below and you look at other coins versus Bitcoin, Ethereum versus Bitcoin is still in this major support zone, making Ethereum a very decent bet right now, in my personal opinion. Cardano, similar things you can see sat in this support zone here. XRP, you can see again sitting in this support zone. Hasn't really rallied much out of it. These altcoins will see lots of excitement when that Bitcoin dominance comes out. Okay, you can almost guarantee it. If you are holding XRP and you're feeling like, oh, this is not really moving yet, I'm frustrated, just be patient. Okay, it's going to rip like crazy. And when XRP rips, SUI will probably sit flat. It happened back in December. SUI sat flat while XRP ripped. Okay, likely you're going to see a lot of these kind of big market cap coins ripping money out of the market. Get in before that happens, not after. Now, not telling you to go and buy XRP or whatever, but understand that these coins will have their time. Pretty much all altcoins are going to have their time.
추후에 알트코인 시즌이 찾아올 것이라는 근거로 그는 비트코인 도미넌스를 제시했습니다. 비트코인 도미넌스란 전체 크립토 시가총액 중 비트코인이 차지하는 비율을 의미하는데요. 앞서 말씀드린 것처럼 시장의 자금은 먼저 비트코인에 몰린 뒤 리스크 커브를 타고 점점 더 위험한 자산, 즉 알트코인 쪽으로 이동하게 됩니다. 그 흐름이 본격화되려면 비트코인 도미넌스가 하락해야 하는데요. 현재 비트코인 도미넌스는 64%로 무려 2021년 이후 가장 높은 수준까지 올라와 있습니다. 특히 주목할 점은 비트코인 도미넌스 자체는 계속 고점을 높이고 있는 반면 RSI는 고점을 낮추며 하락하는 RSI 다이버전스가 발생했다는 거예요. 이런 패턴은 보통 가격은 더 올라가지만 모멘텀은 점점 약해지고 있다는 신호로 해석됩니다. 피터는 이 상황을 근거로 점차 비트 도미넌스가 하락하며 알트코인 대불장이 찾아올 것이라고 분석했습니다. 그리고 잠시 거래 수수료 절반을 다시 환급받는 방법 아직 모르시나요? 단 5분만 투자하면 평생 수수료 돌려받는 셀퍼럴, 선택이 아닌 필수입니다. 자세한 내용은 영상 더보기란을 확인해보세요. 또 하나, 알트코인 매수에 대해서도 중요한 조언을 덧붙였는데요. 이미 급등한 코인에 조급하게 올라타는 것보다는 아직 준비 중인 저평가된 코인들에 미리 포지셔닝 하는 게 좋다고 강조했습니다. 최근 나타난 상승장에 조급함을 느끼기보다는 더 큰 그림을 보고 여유있게 기다리는 시점이라고 이해하시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 오늘 영상 도움이 되셨다면 구독 똑, 좋아요 똑 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다.